Writing blurbs is officially a pain. This episode of Horrible Writing. That will never work. You can't push us. Seriously? Don't. Oh my God, that's really that's bad. You probably should find other hobbies. You ever learn how to spell? Stop. Be happy. Well, you don't bother. I've seen better. Do you really want to do that? And my third grade, get up. Welcome to Horrible Writing, the rawest, most candid, in-your-face writing show on the interwebs because none of us have time to suck. Let's do this. Hey everybody, Paul Sading, your host of Horrible Writing. So, last episode we talked about blurbs. This one we're going to, and maybe next one as well. Why? Because I'm in the middle of blurb writing season. The season when your book is ready to go in all respects except for the important marketing stuff that will actually convert people to giving it a read. That very, very critical aspect of what we do. So I wanted to break it up, one, because I just like the smaller episodes. Anyways, I think it helps you if you only have to focus on one or two or a handful of things at a time, because all of this can be so overwhelming. All of it, especially for us who are completely taking the indie path. So this time around, what I wanted to hit on in respect to blurbs was testing them out. So last episode I told you I did a plot-centric blurb and a character-centric one focusing on Janice, the main character. And the first one was plot because it was the big picture stuff, right? It's what the story is. It's what the story's about. And it changed massively after I did some testing. So I encourage all of you to make sure you test all the way through this over and over and over again. But in addition to that, what people kept picking up on was the shift that I did in the original version, where I lead in with those headline bullets that I told you about, women being murdered. And they felt like I did a bait and switch because then the body of the blurb basically deals with introducing Janice, her conflict, and focusing on what's at stake for her. And as one author eloquently put it, she said, "What about all these damn murders?" Point taken. I went back and I revised everything and I tried to get it to a plot-centric approach and a Janice-centric. And then I went and I tested them. I tested them with writers in the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group. Why aren't you there if you're not? And also in a couple other writer groups, as well as my newsletter subscribers. 3 different audiences, a number of, hundreds of people total, nearly 1,000 people total. I don't know how many actually even gave it the time of day to look at, but enough comments back that I'm even more conflicted. The writers hate it, the fans love it. The one I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with, I thought I was going to go with. I changed it to the second version, the second iteration, based on writer-only feedback. What they didn't like about it, what they said, etc., which is fine, but I don't write for writers. I don't write books for writers. I mean, I do, but this book isn't for writers. This is for entertainment. This is for people looking for a suspense, thriller, little dark type of thing, female-centric main character maybe, based on subject found brand of taking something from legend, lore, myth, and centering a story around it. And then, so I was ready to fire forward until I tested with the last group, which was my newsletter group. And by far, 85 to 90%, that extreme, liked the first version better. The one that the writers had the problem with because the headline bullets were about murders in Memphis and the body of the blurb The character in the at stakes was Janice. The readers, the fans, did not see the bait and switch. They loved it because it got their attention, pushed them all the way through the blurb, whereas the later versions did not. For them, except for 10% of them. So, as writers, that's something I want you to keep in mind. It's the same thing that happens in audio drama. When I was more involved with audio drama, there would be literal arguments. I mean, people unfriending people, type of arguments on Facebook over sound design, sound effects, the sound quality, originality. Do you use canned sound effects or do you go record your own? Right? People get so mad about that they would actually stop talking to each other. Kind of ridiculous, right? Silly. But it's the truth. And this happened years later. So I'm noticing a pattern. Different mediums, all creatives. In our little bubbles, we worry about things that the people we're actually writing for don't care about. They don't pick up on. They don't notice because they're not reading that blurb to analyze it. They're not reading that blurb to pick it apart and look at your grammar and, oh my gosh, you used 3 sentence fragments. Taboo. They don't do that. They just want to know, do I like this story or not? So with it happening the second time, I can't ignore it anymore. Yes, they're different art forms, but it's the same behaviors. The artists will critique each other to no ends, where the fans don't care. Were they entertained or not? Yes or no. They move on. So why aren't we? You won't know until you test it. Some of you don't have a newsletter group. I understand that. Start writing flash fiction, short story pieces, put them out on the internet, and get people to subscribe to get the next ones or get them early or an extra one, whatever it may be. But start building that newsletter list, not wait list, but email list of people who are interested in what you're writing because you're going to miss out on these nuggets. I would have never had this realization if I didn't wait and then go to the newsletter group later or last. And their resounding preference for the one that the writers hated. And that made me think about why the writers hated it, which made me think, oh my gosh, this happened in audio drama as well. I get that we need to bounce these things off each other and help each other, which we do in the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group, by the way. Get over there. Why aren't you there yet? I'm going to make that a tagline. But beyond that, we need to keep in mind. So you need to have somebody you can bounce it off who reads that genre for entertainment and entertainment only, if obviously it's spec fic or whatever. So you can get that perspective as a writer. We don't get more than a few seconds with people on Amazon. If we can't sync them in those few seconds, get them to commit to read that blurb, then convert them at the end, it doesn't matter how good the book is because nobody's picking it up unless you put it for free. Then they don't care about the blurb more times than not. But that's not how you want to convert, right? You're not here to give away books for free. So please learn that lesson from me. While you're thinking about it, go ahead over to Facebook. Join us at the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group, please. We'd love to have you over there. Rate and review the show. Each time one of you does, it helps out immensely. Please go do that. And then, if you like it, if you want to keep it coming, go over to patreon.com/Paul Sading. Become a patron. $1 a month, you get all kinds of exclusive stuff. Until episode 92, keep being epic. This has been Horrible Writing, and hopefully after this episode, you suck less than you did at the beginning. I am Paul Sading, your host extraordinaire. You can find me over on the Twitterverse @WritingHorrible and over at paulsading.com/horrible-writing. Until next time, suck less.